In one of my most recent videos, I spoke about Enter the Gungeon. There is a section where I mentioned that Loop Hero sucks. Today I want to show why I said what I said. Loop Hero is a roguelike game released in 2021 by 4 Quarters, a Russian developer, and published by Devolver Digital, where you awaken in a void with no recollection of what happened. You embark on a journey where you fight and slowly but surely start remembering more about the world and what specifically happened. Ever since I had my laptop, I was interested in this game, not because I knew what it was about, but because it was one of my very first games gifted by Epic. After playing it, I can definitely say that this game had a lot of potential that is not fulfilled in the game. Let's dive right in. You start on a dirt road that loops itself to your camp, and the gameplay itself is basically a point-and-click style game, where your character starts with no equipment and must defeat monsters to gain gear and tile cards. The tile cards are used to remember parts of the world by putting them on the world or on the road. However, this includes things that summon different enemies, like a vampire mansion that houses vampires, or a graveyard that summons the undead. A cool detail is that some tiles, when placed together, fuse into a new tile altogether, but unfortunately these fusions are very limited and it's not hard to see them all after a couple of runs. You can drag and select where you want to add each tile, either in the road or in your surroundings. For the gear, it actually varies on what type of character you use, since there are slots that only certain archetypes can use items for. They are number based and have different affinities like defense, attack speed, vampirism, etc. The gist of the game is you fight monsters and bosses on a loop until you finish it, where you can either return to camp and keep everything, or you can proceed until you die. You get to keep around 30% of your items and also the memories of each loop. Back at the camp, you can use the materials gathered to upgrade your surroundings, with different type of professions, like a blacksmith that can give you starting weapons in each run, a farm that yields a card, and many more. Although, most of the buildings need another building to work at 100% capacity. The music is decent. The best one, obviously, is the boss fight theme. It sounds very Tetric, and the very first time you hear it, you're probably gonna shit your pants. It's gonna make you panic. It keeps changing every time a boss appears in the loop. Now, I've mentioned all of this and it sounds pretty good, right? Like a decent game. But the issue is that after some time, it gets boring, repetitive. There are not enough changes that differentiate runs from each other. There are very few characters you can use. The boss music might not even appear in some runs due to the loops continuing without the boss appearing. Like, let's be honest. Is the gameplay you're currently watching enticing? Is it making you want to play this game? Maybe. Who am I to judge? What I would do to make Loop Hero an even better game is I'm gonna keep the point and click style of the game, since I'm going to assume that was their vision. I want to respect that. What I would add and make more of a core theme though would be the fusions of the tiles. There are very few, like I mentioned earlier, but if you made that like a core aspect, it would be more fun and even more refreshing when you go into the loops. Because as of right now, you don't feel like you make progress enough. Like, you just go, slay, collect items, go, slay, collect items, which I know is the point of the game, but it still does not feel fun. So, by focusing on the fusion side of things, it will keep things more fresh. You'll be more willing to go back into the starting loops, and you'll be more entertained, I reckon, because you wouldn't be pausing and dragging without, thought or idea. You would actually check and see what combinations benefit you. But, well, that's what I would do. Loop Hero has a lot of creative ideas, with the tiles fusing into different ones, and the story of how the world is void and you need to place tiles to remember how the world was. But after playing for 20 hours, endlessly pointing and clicking to get to the same loops, I decided to end the loop forever.